6 after 8 o'clock. Welcome to News and Views. Now, opposition parties will be holding a national convention on August the 16th and 17th in Kempton Park. The parties say that they hope to emerge from the gathering with the strongest possible agreement. This joint statement was issued by the DA, Inkatha Freedom Party, Freedom Front Plus, Action SA, National Freedom Party, UDM, and the lesser known Spectrum National Party. They're referring to this as a pact and not a coalition if it does in fact happen. Good morning to you, Professor. Welcome to the program. What do you make of this new development on the political landscape?
Oh yeah, morning, Julie. Yes, this is an interesting political development taking place in our country. All these political parties are smelling blood. They have a sense that the ANC, which is the governing party, is likely not to garner the 50+1 electoral outcome that will enable it to govern alone. So they are all preparing the ground in preparation of this likely outcome come 2024 national elections. So if you look at the 7 political parties, in the main, the DA, FF Plus, Action SA, IFP, they are not ideologically far apart. So these are parties that are championing common interest issues around identity, language, culture, and self-determination. So they are able to reach a middle ground and also to have or establish areas of policy convergence. But also we should bear in mind that the ANC is also not sitting on its laurels, and that is the reason it has taken a decision to revive its youth wing, which is the ANC Youth League. And of course, over the weekend, they were able to elect a new national leadership of the Youth League. So that is part of their strategy to entice and also get the voter base, which is the youth in the majority. But also nationally, we should also take into account that the ANC has co-opted the leader of the Good Party, that is Patricia de Lille. She's a minister serving in the ANC-led cabinet, and also provincially, the ANC and the EFF are now able to forge some political alliances as part of running the affairs of municipalities in particular. So that is these are the movements we are seeing from parties which are part of the left wing, left leaning, and also parties that are part of the right leaning in terms of how they are preparing for the 2024 national elections.
It's a very interesting mix because you're suggesting left parties and right parties, people who have rightist ideologies and leftist ideologies coming together, calling themselves as a pact and not that dreaded word coalitions, because clearly going to local government, going down to the local government level, coalitions ain't working. We see what's happening in Johannesburg with the musical chairs being played as far as local government is concerned, the coalition governments. Changing that narrative, not calling themselves a coalition, calling themselves a pact. Do you think that's going to go down well within themselves and within the larger public? And when we talk at national level, are we talking of a more matured, perhaps more seasoned politicians who are able to work together and to be able to see the bigger picture and try and work towards the greater good of the people?
Yes, thanks, Julie. So hence they are calling this a pact because all these 7 parties they are going to contest the national elections separately, okay, based on their separate election manifestos and also different election strategies that they are going to conceptualize and also implement. But their saying in the likely event we have this electoral outcome that ensures that the ANC dips below the 50% electoral mark, we as a pact, we should be able to go into a negotiation table and also look at how we then form a government, because then the likely outcome will be the ANC is no longer a governing party because it has lost its majority. So they're simply saying this is the structure and this is the program that we want to enter into and also focus on in the event we have this electoral outcome that affords us an opportunity for the first time as political parties to govern the country. So they're saying, let's go into a convention and agree on areas of commonality in terms of our policy positions and also our programs, but very important on how we are going to allocate political seats, which basically are the executive seats, in the event we are afforded an opportunity to govern. So
Okay,
they're
let me
not calling it
understand.
a coalition because they know that, as you rightly put it, Julie, coalitions are not working effectively in the metros in particular. So they are running away from that use of a concept, but they are comfortable with the use of a pact.
Okay, let's understand this and unpack it more, unpack it further for the layperson. Are you saying that these seven parties that are going to meet at this convention are going to obviously draw up some form of a blueprint, but during election time, they're all going to go their separate ways and they're going to garner votes that are necessary for securing seats in parliament? However, if they do see that the ANC is forging ahead, is it only then, post the elections, that they will form this pact? And does the Constitution, in fact, allow for something like that post the elections? Let's assume the ANC does come in on 51 or 52%. Do they still have room to maneuver that pact and go ahead and possibly overtake the ANC?
Yes, yeah. Thanks, Julie. So the ANC at the moment is sitting at 57% electoral outcome if we use the 2019 baseline as part of our point of reference. So come 2024, if the ANC, for example, dips below 52, 51%, the ANC will still be able to constitute a government. So they will not need any coalition partner or any political party to go into a marriage as part of constituting a majority government. But these political parties are saying, in the likely event the ANC dips below the 50 plus 1 electoral mark, we should be able to coalesce and also constitute a government, because now we have agreed on a number of policy positions and programs. We are ready to govern as political parties, being seven in number, because that would be the pact that they form in the next coming weeks or so. So that's what they are planning around. But the ANC, as I said, is also not sleeping. It is also working on its election strategy to keep the majority that it has. Either it can sit at 57%, maintain that electoral outcome, or maybe sit at 55% or even 52% or below 50% plus one. But they're saying,
If carry on.
yeah. So the ANC is also very careful. Hence, I said they have coalesced with the Good Party. They are now forming political allegiances with the EFF to prepare the ground that in the event the 2024 electoral outcome takes us below the 50% electoral mark, we should be able then to sit with the EFF, the Good Party, and to some extent Al Jama, and discuss how we form a government of national unity, which is a coalition government.
Okay, it is 16 after 8 o'clock. Let's go for an ad break. When we come back, we'll continue this discussion.
This is Salam Media.
There's no smell that takes me back to the comfort of my childhood than the smell of black seed oil being applied by my nanny. Now I'm using Tib black seed in my own home to soothe sniffles and coughs, to help with digestion and immunity, and of course, as part of my beauty routine. After all these years, I've come to appreciate the wisdom in finding comfort and shifa in trusted treatments like Tib black seed. You can find Tib black seed at all leading pharmacies or find out more at blackseed.co.za.
When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Al Bayt Lodge, your true home away from home. Al Bayt is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities. Conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities, your stay will be truly unforgettable, as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Al Bayt has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albaytlodge.co.za.
Sponsor an orphan, and you'll help support a vulnerable child to have the education they've always dreamed of, so they can build a brighter future. You'll be feeding a hungry stomach and a hungry mind with knowledge that will last them a lifetime. That's the power of an education. Sponsor an orphan now with Islamic Relief.
Conveniently located along the banks of the Crocodile River bordering the Kruger National Park, as a guest at Buckler's Africa Lodge, one can enjoy an amazing sunrise or sunset on our spacious deck area while you catch a glimpse of some wildlife sightings along the Crocodile River. The sounds of the African savannah will greet you whilst you enjoy your morning coffee. Buckler's Africa Lodge by Tingana Collection. Buckler's Africa Lodge is ideally situated only 6 kilometers from the Crocodile Bridge Gate in the Kruger National Park. Catering for all travelers with variety, we have 4 types of the finest rooms: superior rooms, deluxe suites, and 2-bedroomed family units. Each room is equipped with the finest amenities to make your stay unforgettable. Guests can choose between the self-catering option or book their accommodation with breakfast and dinner included. Buckler's Africa Lodge is your ideal location for the ultimate Kruger getaway experience. We specialize in exhilarating and educational game drives in Kruger, tailor-made to suit your family. Inquire about our various accommodation offerings and other activities. Visit www.tingana.co.za for more information. Buckler's Africa Lodge by Tingana Collection. Experience the pulse of Africa with us.
Ah, the kitchen, the heart of the home, where memories are made and celebrated. Our go-to place for those freshly stacked pancakes early in the morning or for that late-night snack munchies. We are in there together, cooking, eating, and celebrating life together. Let's keep the kitchen a place that is shared by everyone, where we build stronger bonds and grow together. Sunfoil, Now We Cooking. Visit nowwecooking.co.za for recipes that everyone can help make.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media.
It is exactly 20 after 8 o'clock on News and Views this morning. At about 8:35, we'll be crossing over to Jerusalem and we'll talk with archaeologist and historical expert Abir Zayad about Jenin being under attack. Lots more coming up on the show. We'll also be talking with Fasia Hassan from the ANC's Youth League regarding the elections and the ANC Youth League's, take on the upcoming elections 2024. But right now, we are talking with Professor Sam Koma. He is a governance expert, and we're talking about 7 political parties are going to be holding a national convention to unseat the ANC at the 2024 elections. We hope and pray that that in fact does come to pass. But what is the likelihood that it will in fact happen? Professor Sam Koma, your thoughts? Do you believe that the ANC are still in a very strong position? And as you've indicated, they're not sleeping. They're also strategizing. They've got the ANC Youth League all obviously involved. They've had their NEC elections over the weekend. They obviously are going to try and garner the youth vote. We also know that they've been making noises about introducing the NIH, which is very, very appealing to the poorest of the poor. And that might just probably tilt the vote in their favor. Your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, thanks, Julie. So the ANC in electoral terms, it's on a decline. So that one is a reality. If you look at the three successive national elections, it has been declining. They're sitting at 57% if you look at the 2019 electoral outcome, but it's a party that has the benefit of incumbency. So they're a governing party. They can dispense patronage. They can also look at populist policies, the ones that you've already alluded to. They also have a track record of providing safety nets to close to 18 million South Africans who live below the poverty line. And the biggest voting base of the ANC are your working class and largely those who benefit from these social safety nets, your social grants or social security scheme. So the ANC will continue to implement those kind of policy measures as part of retaining its voter base. But now they are looking at a new electoral strategy since they are on electoral decline, and they are trying to entice the youth of South Africa. And they're doing that through the reviving of the youth wing of the ANC, which is the ANC Youth League. They have a sense that the ANC Youth League would be able to assist the party in terms of resonating with the interest and the plight of the majority of the youth in South Africa as part of course, increasing its electoral margins come 2024. So they have that benefit as a governing party, but we have two likely scenarios come 2024. One scenario is the ANC maintaining its majority and also allowing the ANC to govern alone. The second scenario is the ANC losing its majority, that is failing to reach the 50+1 electoral mark, and thus pushing the party to go into a coalition with any of the political parties that will have contested and also won parliamentary seats in parliament. So those are the two scenarios we're looking into. If we use this empirical evidence, and also we're looking at what is likely to come out come 2024.
What is the likelihood of these seven parties forming a pact and in fact winning the elections? And then let me also go back to the 18 million people that you allude to living below the poverty line who are very dependent on social grants. If we have this new political pact that is the new government, would anything change as far as those grants are concerned? Because obviously that is very, very important as far as these 18 million people are concerned. They're going to have to appeal to that population group as well. Otherwise, there's going to be unrest in the country. So how should they be marketing themselves to these 18 million people, assuring them that even though the ANC has been giving out grants to you people, we're not going to take that away. In fact, we're going to make it more attractive. The other thing also that they need to think about is youth unemployment. And also the issue around large-scale corruption, right from the top to the bottom.
Yes, thanks, Julie. So the only way these political parties can do is to go to the electorate and clearly articulate that social security is a constitutional obligation. It obliges the state to put in place legislative measures and other measures as part of catering the vulnerable and marginalized section of the population. If we do win the elections as a pact, we are not going to tamper or change any of the social security schemes that are being introduced since 1994, largely your social grants. That's the message they have to put out to the electorate to say we can tamper with a constitutional obligation because the right for social assistance is provided for already in the Constitution as part of the Bill of Rights. But they will also have to look at other strategies on how to woo or entice the youth in terms of issues around creation of the much needed employment opportunities for the youth and also looking at viable economic policy reforms that can also be implemented to allow the youth who want to venture into business, become entrepreneurs, to be able to be aided by the government in the event they take over as a pact.
Well, let's hope that that does in fact come to pass. Let's look at the question around coalitions by the ANC, post the elections. Let's assume they don't maintain their 57% hold as far as the electorate is concerned. I'm wondering what is in it for perhaps Patricia de Lille's Good Party, the EFF. I mean, Julius Malema has always been very anti-ANC. He was with the ANC Youth League. He then got either kicked out or stepped down and formed the EFF. And then Al Jamar, a marginal party, but they've thrown in their lot with the ANC because I guess they know that if they don't, they won't have a political home any longer. That's my sense of Al Jamar. How do you see these smaller parties and their affiliation with the ANC?
Oh, yes. Yeah. So, as I pointed out earlier, the ANC has already co opted the leader of the Good Party, Patricia de Lille. She is serving in the government of the ANC. Also, at the moment, what they're doing at the provincial level, especially in Gauteng province, the ANC is forging political allegiances with the EFF. Because if you look at the electoral outcome of 2019, and also you look at the Gauteng province, the ANC is sitting at 51% electoral outcome. So they are in a very precarious and vulnerable electoral position. And that is the reason there is this movement between the EFF and the ANC in the running of the metros in particular. They are trying to also bring the EFF in the fold, that in the event the 2024 electoral outcome take us below the 50 plus 1 electoral mark, we should be able to negotiate with the EFF and agree on the allocation of political positions. Nationally, the same will happen between the ANC and the EFF, and also, as I said, Al Jamar. You also have other parties like the PAC, if they are able to get into parliament. The ANC will be able to go to such parties to garner support and also to be able to constitute a majority government. So it's not
Okay, I've
much
got
of a headache for the ANC because already they are working with a good party at national level. The only thing they will do is just to go and speak with the EFF as part of negotiating a deal with them to constitute a majority government.
When we look at the ANC Youth League and when we look at young people today, and when we see what's playing out in government circles, in municipalities particularly, we do know that there's a lot of corruption happening there. And obviously, the ANC have been tainted by all of this corrupt activities by politicians in particular. They do believe that this is a very viable space to be in, to line their pockets. What guarantees do we have that if the new pact comes into power, we won't have same old, that they too will eye all of those tenders and lucrative contracts, etc., to line their pockets?
Yes, that would be the challenge for the pact on how to ensure that it builds a clean government that is free from any wrongdoing, any corrupt acts, and also ensure that it focuses largely on how to cater and respond to the needs, the demands, the expectations of the majority of South Africans, and also ability to fast track the implementation of programs that are able to alleviate poverty and also create employment and also reduce this high level of inequality between the rich and the poor. So that would be a major challenge for the pact once it gets into government on how to put in place structures and also processes to be able to respond to the needs of majority of South Africans.
This is going to be interesting indeed, and I think we're all going to be sitting back with bated breath to see what happens at that opposition party leaders' national convention in August. Let's wrap up by asking you an important question. Your thoughts on the outcomes of the 2024 elections?
Oh, okay. Yes. As I said, we are looking at two possible scenarios. One
Your
scenario.
personal view. I'm wanting your personal view.
Oh, yes. Oh, my personal view.
Yes.
Yes.
Am I putting you on the spot?
Yes. Yeah. No, you are. But it would be good to have a new blend of political parties being given an opportunity by the electorate for the first time since 1994 to govern the country.
Please,
So we are
God, let
looking
that
for an
come to
alternative.
pass. Okay, please, as I said, please, God, let that come to pass. Thank you indeed for talking with us this morning. Interesting indeed. You go well and have a good day.
Okay, great. Thanks.
That was Professor Sam Koma, governance expert, talking to us about the 7 political parties that are holding a national convention to unseat, hopefully, the ANC at the 2024 elections. And that convention will be happening in the middle of August. Undoubtedly, all eyes are going to be on the outcomes of that convention. The time is 8:33 a.m. News and Views on Salam Media. In a minute or two, we'll be crossing over to Jerusalem to talk with Abir Zayad about the situation in Jenin.